35 years ago. A lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work,
diagnostics and racing transmissions,
performance parts and Jeep upgrades,
automotive detailing,
used car sales,
and towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.
Hello and welcome back to the Bracken Life broadcast. Brandon here, back again with my good buddy Andrew Stark.
Good day, good day. How we doing?
Can't complain. We're here. We're making it through. We went racing, and close to home too. So you got to go racing.
Yeah.
So the weather's nice.
I can't believe
not very nice. Not very nice right now. Not here. Well, it's a little wet, but that's all right. Get it out now. We don't need it to be wet, on Saturday, Sunday, but Tuesday, nobody cares.
I was going to say, we had the first good long weekend, and as long as I can remember, possibly back to 2012, which was the last time I remember racing in warmth, I feel like. But yeah still dry here, but won't say anything more.
Exactly. No, it was good. The weather was really nice. It was a little shaky at the beginning of the week, right? We weren't really sure how it was going to go, but it turned out awesome. But But so before we dive into the show, just on the commercial, tonight's episode presented by Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet, dealers for K&R Performance Engineering Products, FTI Performance Transmissions and Converters, Jones Transmission Pumps, Race Star Wheels. It's not wrote down. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. And pretty much everything else that you can think of.
It's a race car part. You can get it.
So we can get you set up, right? So that's all good. So thanks, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet. Like I say this every time they sponsor. I'm looking over at Ogilvy's right now. It's a little. I'm never really ever away from it anymore.
No, you just always kind of check in, just look out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you're tuning in live, let us know that you're here. Let us know you're hanging out. Any thoughts, comments, anything throughout the show, dive them in. Right. We love to. We're always open for different interesting conversation. Right. You never know where it can go back. Yeah. Exactly. There you go. We got some folks getting ready, head to PDRA in Ohio. Yep. That's going to be good. That's going to be a huge, I would imagine, Canadian showing down there. So I'm going to go racing, but not in Ohio.
No, well, 2 weeks I am. So that's
there you go.
Not that one, but we'll touch on that a little bit in the Canadian countdown as we get in, because I was just scrambling a little bit here to find some info on that PDRA race, because I realized I missed a key piece of information that might be interesting to the world. So
there you go.
It is.
So that's it. Without further ado, then we'll dive into the Canadian countdown. As I talked about, we went racing. We headed to Luskville for opening weekend. Had some other plans. We were going to go to Toronto and do the National Open Series. Everything with broken race cars not being finished, engines not being done, whatnot. Didn't work out for us. Ran out of time. As crazy as that sounds, but life's just nuts. So didn't make it to Toronto. A little bit of a further drive for us now. So headed to Luskville. Like I said, awesome weekend. Great to be back. Great to see everybody, all our family and friends that were there. Cool deal. I didn't have any great results. Had actually some fighting with my dragster with the spare engine. Is what it is. So that's going to sit at home for a little bit. That unit is so. It's not necessarily broke, but
it's not happy.
It's not happy. Yeah. And we're not going to break it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. So, so my weekend wasn't great. On the other hand, time at Ogilvy's, Mike Ogilvy had a wicked weekend. Saturday was the runner-up to Phil Harvey. Phil continuing his reign of dominance, it seems, for, this will be the third year rolling in. Phil has just been, an unstoppable force so far in kind of, well, I guess that in the Quebec region. I was going to say, Western Ontario, but not really racing in Ontario, but that whole Super Tour area.
Yep.
Phil's just dominant so far, has done very well racing in the South, hasn't had it all come together, but has put up, good rounds and good results.
Made really good laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And then just getting beat with great runs,
Yeah.
right? So you can't complain about that. So been dominant across the board, and then carries that on. Obviously, as we can tell, another dominant force at Louisville in semi-pro. Stephen Ballantyne wins with his had used his mulligan. Semi-pro this weekend had a mulligan race. Well, no mulligans for Super Pro, which was different. Normally, every opening weekend at Louisville, Saturdays mulligans for everyone. So none in Super Pro. Semi-pro still ran it. Stephen Ballantyne carried his mulligan to the final round, where ran Stéphane Pichette. Stéphane took the win the first race. Stephen then used his mulligan and took the win in the second one. So, good for Stephen rolling in. His car is actually across the road too, get some final touch-ups before we head to Naperville for the Super Tour event. So
There you go.
to pick up another championship potentially this year. Juniors, Cohen Gagne with his first win ever. Louis Gagne, one of the twins, Lewis's twins. So Cohen, good for him. Loves hanging out in the trailer with us all the time. He made sure he stopped by. Loves Rachel, especially. So Cohen was over to show his trophy off then. So took the win over Julia Malcolm. Good for her. Julia had a great weekend as well. So, runner-up on Saturday. We flip over to Sunday. Julia, runner-up once again, this time to Haley Anger. So good for Haley. I'm not sure.
Great start.
Yeah, for sure. Right, huge. And then was very good. I think there was a lot of results that were coming that I kind of heard through it. But yeah, so Julia was all over that. So congratulations to her. Semi-pro, I don't want to keep like a broken record and say another dominant force, but really semi-pro's two winners of the weekend were the titans of the class, I guess. So like I said, Stephen Ballantyne Saturday, Mike Reynolds takes the win on Sunday. So both those guys, lots of momentum heading into this weekend Super Tour event. Kenjal Giroux was the runner-up there. Super Pro was Russ Adams over Dave Rennie. Rusty keeping it on. We talked about him at Galat, having a wicked week there. Carries it on, has a great day. Dave Rennie, I do want to talk about for a minute. Obviously, the man is a machine. You don't know who Dave Rennie is. You got to pay attention to him at the racetrack, right? He's always working, getting stuff done. They had some problems with Pam's car. Got his wife Pam. She got a dragster. Got it out Saturday. And then just happened to notice there was some hairline cracks around the front end of that. So Pam didn't race Saturday. Drove home. He got his TIG welder. Drove back. We actually hooked it up to my generator. Sat in the trailer till 11 o'clock at night, welding the front end of this dragster back together. Got it all set up, got it put away, and then wake up and then go to the finals. Yeah. And it was a long day for Dave, right? And it was hot all weekend. So, the man is a machine and was working at it, never gave up. There's not a quit at all in that man. So good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him getting through. I did want to, special shout out to both of them. So Phil Harvey and Mike Ogilvy were the finals on Saturday. They were both the semifinalists on Saturday. Mike lost to Russ in the semis, and Dave Dave beat Phil
In the other side.
in the semis. So it was almost a double weekend for them both to run the finals. So cool
Unreal.
deal. Great start.
Yeah, those will be the people to watch for when you hit the Napierville, right? Because that is a solid start. And when you look at those four characters, right, they're usually the guys that you would slate into some late rounds kind of at any given time, right? Mike's certainly done a great job. Russ has got what a great start to the year for him, right? So that's
Absolutely.
and Phil just
All
I don't
over.
think you say straight start to the year, but the guy never really ends the year off poorly and never starts the year badly. He just continues rolling. So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
from there, I guess we can kick it back. We're heading west. I had to think about my geography for a second there before I said that. So Toronto Motorsports Park, NHRA National Open, Canadian National Open Series kicking off their first of how many weekends was it? Six weekends. So I have the NHRA results with some bracket results from the Sunday. But main event, stock, super stock, Luis Gill over Chris Lozon. Nostalgia stock, super stock. And that's kind of a neat class. It's built around a lot of the US style nostalgia stock, super stock class legal type chassis with more of an opened policy on the engines, albeit they got to fit some criteria. Lloyd Booker taking home the inaugural win over Rob Gallagher. Junior Dragster, Johanna Thompson, over, and I'd C. Edler. I'm not sure which C is, but we'll roll with that. Sportsman Motorcycle, Brandon Satchel over Darren Johnston. Bullwhip, I think a couple episodes ago, we talked about him being down south, picking up a win at the Man Cup. Darren having a great start to the year. Top Sportsman, Top Dragster combo, Mike Wag over D. Anthony. Apologize here, catching up first name, and someone will come and be like, oh, yeah, I'm great with faces, awful with names. Martin over Noakes in Super Comp. Matt Costable. Matt with a great weekend. Going to pick up 2 wins eventually over this Tuesday's here. But first win on Saturday over Joe Ferrari. And Super Street, Drew Buchner over Steve McCarrick. Steve will continue his good weekend later on here as we get into Sunday. Riley over DJ Razor. So kind of neat. Stock, Super Stock. Really drew a great crowd, right? From racers out east down to New York. I think there might have been a PA racer or two. A lot of Ontario. They had about 60 Super Stockers. So great draw for them. Glenn Tovey over Lloyd Booker. Nostalgia Super Stock. Junior Dragster, Jacob Firstel over C. Edler. Sorry, Edler. We'll get your name. But great weekend for you. Brandon Satchel with the double over Kyle Van Beek in Sportsman Motorcycle. Top Dragster, Top Sportsman. Rock Bodine picking up his first win in the new car. I'm not sure if this is the first time he's raced it, but it was certainly, I've seen him test it quite a bit. Yeah, he's been making strides with it. I've watched him. We watched him at Luskville. We've seen him at a few different spots, pull it out to make some test it. So all the testing paid off, put it in competition. I believe he won best engineered car as well.
I believe so.
So beautiful setup. Super Comp, Brooklyn Nooks over Blake Sutton. Super Gas, Matt Costable over Josh Williams. Super Street, Steve McCarrick over JV Champ. Jamie had a great Sunday. Jamie ended up wheeling his Malibu back around for the Super Pro win over Ian Hill. So 2 finals in the same day, which has been pretty characteristic for Jamie recently. He's been putting on a great run. I believe on Saturday, I didn't get the qualifying sheet, but I think he came off the trailer with a 1090 with a 1. So I'm going to hazard a guess he was probably the number 1 qualifier on Saturday, but there is 1,000.
It's about as close as you can get to 1090 without hitting it.
Well, that's the thing, right? So they left about 1,000 on the table. Maybe someone slid inside it, but I kind of doubt it. So that's Toronto. There were some bracket results. Unfortunately, we didn't get more on from Mod, and I want to say Sportsman was probably contested there too, or Street. But if we can get those, we'll try to include them in another show. But that was the NHRA opener at Toronto Motorsports. Grand Bend, that's where I ended up. I did a little testing on Friday after the rain. That was washed out, and we had a test session we were going to run, and that didn't happen. So we got some Friday night hits in, got some stuff set up, stuck around Saturday, came home Sunday, and cut grass like a madman in preparation of trying to go racing this weekend. But at least got Saturday results from Grand Bend. So the Talbot brothers, we talked about them, extensively on here, right? The entire family having gone down to World Finals, IHRA and WDRA, I think consecutively, to represent the different classes between their dad and 2 brothers. But Brad kicked off the year, and I think in a new car too. He's picked up a Camaro that he runs in Mod ET and Sportsman, but he won Mod. Jeff, younger brother, picks up the win in Sportsman. Carly Duffy taking the win in Extreme 32. Wade Matt taking the win in Top ET. Wade parked me in round 2 of Extreme 32. I believe he was 001 and looked like he was going high dead on. So that left me all the room in the world with my bad let go and 1 over. But great for Wade. I believe he also went on, and I can't remember in here because it doesn't show up, but he was, I don't know if it was in the final on Sunday as well, or possibly on that same day in Extreme. But great start for Wade. Matt Rusnak, bike sled. Tim Ferguson winning Open Comp, and then Levi Dill, Junior Dragster, and Cassandra Olette, Junior Consolation winner. And that was Saturday at Grand Bend. There were some Sunday results. We've got, I think from there, we're heading to Mission. So I'll let Brandon take over from there.
Absolutely. So we don't really have any Mission results. I've been looking, I just took a little check here before. They were running, I know they got rain on Saturday, and then they were in a double up on Sunday, I believe. I got a couple of results, just some juniors. So Ashton took the win in Junior Thunder. Nick takes the win in Junior Lightning. And Taryn wins Junior Street. Those are results that I got to this point looking through. So we'll keep checking out missions all over it. We actually got home Sunday in time to watch some mission racing. Helps out with they're 3 hours behind where we are. But we watched some. It was still a time trial, so I believe it was maybe getting ready for the second race. But yeah, it was cool to watch. They have a good production there. I've never actually taken the time to sit down and fully watch one, for a couple hours. We just kind of had it on in the background, while the family was over and having dinner and whatnot. So that was nice. But yeah, like I said, and I've said this every week, right? Mission's doing a lot of great stuff right now with their bracket program and promoting it, and then pushing more on have an online presence and really celebrate their racing and the racers, right? So that's huge. Good for them. I love it. I wish that every track would do that. And I realize that not every racetrack's going to have, 500 people to sit down and watch it, but still it's pretty cool. Right. And then you share that with your family and friends and stuff like that. And, build it up a little bit.
Well, exactly. And it's neat to see it because it's 2 tracks out west that have that, right? Rad Tour and Mission. And certainly a lot of big things happening out in the West, right? I mean, just not to go too far on a tangent, but when you look at all the big things coming with WDRA and what the tracks are going through, the new ownership at Rad Torque, the investment, right, that's happening with it, Mission, just all the fantastic things that are going on with the track there, right? I mean, some great racing. And again, same thing. I loved watching it, right? I hadn't tuned in as often. Just again, usually, honestly, by the time I'm getting home from all the places I've been to, I'm busted dead tired. So I'm shutting things down.
I hear you.
Really cool to see the being able to watch the local racing, right? And not so local for some of us who just want to watch some really cool Canadian racing.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So from there, we'll move into Top E Edmonton. So I only have some, the strictly Top E results. I know they have smaller classes going on. Sunday, they got rain. They didn't get to race Saturday, so it looked like a wicked time. It looked like a great end to the day with ROC and DOC in the final. Ryan O'Connor taking out his father, Darren O'Connor, in the final there. So it's pretty cool, I said father and son to start off the year.
Yep. So
it's neat for them. The lone semifinalist was Greg Morton. So cool deal. Obviously, we've had Ryan on here before. And I want to say that was almost 2 years ago now that we talked to Ryan, so that's pretty cool. But, still all over it, right? Killing it. And then guy is jacked up all the time, just excited to be there and, driving like a madman lately. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what happens for him this year, right? Cool deal. But that'd be a fun time.
Absolutely. How does that split go in the final, you think, right?
That's it. I don't know. I
That's
think the boss just tells you how it's going to go. You just sit there and let go of the button.
Well, I was going to say, right, whoever's got the most investment on the income or the out expense sides probably dictating the split on this one, but
yeah. No, I think so. I think if you're the son, you're just happy to be there, and the old man's telling you how it's going to go.
That could be.
It was good. It was good race. I watched the live feed there or the Facebook Live they did of it. It's pretty cool, and I love the winner circle pictures for all the Top E stuff. Right, they're huge. It's like the whole class. Everybody there is in the winner circle picture, and they all have a great time. So
absolutely,
one of those races would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
be a blast. I'd love to do that.
That's a road trip.
Yeah, that is, or just another plane ride. We'll see.
That's true too.
See what happens. Andrew, so that's about it for the Canadian racing content that we have. We do have some NHRA stuff that went down. So Andrew, hit us up on that.
So NHRA back in Chicago for their second year after their hiatus away. One of the cool things, and again, this kind of hits for our section of the world. It's one of the closer national events on top of like Reading and Norwalk. So Chicago's always been kind of that third furthest out to some extent. So great to see the second year for them. Sounds like they've got their future secured. Couple Canadians did pretty well there. Dan Mercier, big impact there. He qualified number 9th in a really tight field. It was one of those races where Tony Stewart sitting on the bump and had to, endure quite a bit of hard heart palpitations watching cars go down and just miss bumping him out. So it was quite that Brittany Force doesn't get in, right? So real tight in that regard. He ends up going down to the semis and en route taking out multi-time champion Tony Schumacher in round one. Number one qualifier, local TJ Zizzo, and which was kind of a cool story too, to see them, because they don't race much, and to see them go to the top and hold that position was a really cool story. Eventually falls to Sean Langdon in the semis. Sean lays down, I think, the best lap of the round, right, and one of the best of race day. So very hard to beat that. Sean also managed to, unfortunately, take out the other Canadian ride. Cody Crone qualified 14th in the Peyton Dragster. Sean took him out in round one. Great run, hot track conditions, so it was certainly a tuner's game, but Sean's ride prevailed in that one. Antron Brown with a W in the end. NHRA Pro Mod, two Canadians got into that field. Another one of those really tight qualified fields. I think there was only a 10th separating top to bottom in Pro Mod. Justin Bond, Mission BC native. Jordan Lasik, I believe, driving, I think it was one of Justin's cars. I know it was a Bahrain 1 kind of backed entry, but both were able to bump into the field. Both made it to the corners before their aspirations of winning an NHRA Wally came short on that end. NHRA Pro Stock, Sienna Wildgust continues her 2024 campaign. Just as heartbreaking as it is, doesn't get in, 9 thou behind. I believe it was 9, or it was a little less than that. Just right there. She's been there a few times now and just been thousandths. It's such a tight, tough field to get inside of, but she's really doing a great job. You can see the strides. They're making good laps. So I'm sure it's only a matter of time before you see her getting in there continuously. From that point, that's kind of it. Just in a Chicago, non-Canadian aspect to it, just a fun national event to watch. I don't know how many got to watch the results or watched it live, but the hot, greasy track strikes, lots of upsets, certainly a lot of DNQs that were surprising. Fantastic racing. One of those races where they run super street in the NHRA, which only happens once in every division. So I got to watch all my favorite classes on one track, 90 cars wise and super stock wise. But to see John Force having a kind of a, I guess I'm trying to think of the right term here, but just a career, not a career year, but a year, in that he hasn't had in the later part of his career, going to another final round at this race coming up short to Hagen, who put up his best lap of the weekend to take the W. But just a fun race. I look forward to this. One of those events that has always drawn well for Canadians. I'm sure it will, as I'm sure there would have been probably even more if there wasn't a National Open kind of going up head to head with it, but only so many dates on the calendar. So what can you do?
That's it. That's it. I just got a text update here. We did miss results from Chicago. I know we're not past Chicago yet, so we haven't missed it officially.
Absolutely.
Second annual streetcar shootout, I believe, is what it was referred to as. Canadian Dave Schroeder takes the win over Alex Taylor. A couple of drag week, sick week entries or racers came out and put on a show here, I guess, in Chicago. So cool to see them actually compete. I'm not saying that they don't compete in the drag week stuff, but it's a different type of racing. So it's cool when you actually have a heads up race go on, and good to see Dave back out. I think we've talked about him a few times now. I know when we had that big crash last year, we weren't sure kind of what the future would hold for Dave in the near future, at least. But obviously back out and obviously flying, and then Alex Taylor's obviously always on top of it as well. So good for him taking the win over her.
No, absolutely. It was neat to see that. Actually, I didn't mean to kind of gloss. I forgot that just in the quickly going through that they'd been running down there, but I did watch them down there, and it was incredible to watch some of those cars. I mean, street legal stuff going low 6 seconds, right, is just wild. And Dave Schroeder, certainly, I remember the pass he made against Alex now, and it was a bit of a heart palpitation moment as the car got a little bit, not let's say sideways, but it was black tracking hard and had some, reminiscence of all the bad things that happened before, but great driver. So from that standpoint, I guess we can look ahead, right? For some results that we'll look forward to in a couple of weeks. This weekend, American Door Slammer Challenge, sponsored by Smokey's Garage from Ontario. PDRA race at Summit Motorsports Park. We've already seen a couple of our viewers chime in that they're heading down to Ohio this weekend. take this in. So from that standpoint, I didn't realize this. This is one of those things just snuck up on me here. So Spencer Hyde leading the PDRA Pro Boost points, heading down to Norwalk. Melanie Salemi sitting in third as far as the Canadian contingent goes. But this will be a big weekend for all those folks, and a big weekend in general for the Turning Point. I'm sure there's going to be a great Canadian turnout, as was mentioned, because that's, that is the home close race. I'm sure the Harris family will be heading down there. I know Nick Augustino was, I saw a post there earlier about, all the bullets are loaded to head down to Norwalk. In fact, I'm pretty sure I saw Scotty Wildgust already on the way with the Smokies Garage team. I'm not sure where they were coming from. I've seen more mountains than I usually see on I-90, so I'm not sure the video he posted where they're at, but they're on their way to Norwalk. Hopefully not the 2 scenic route to get there, but so it should be good. Looking forward to that weekend. I'm not sure if we're going to see anyone from Extreme Pro Stock down there, but there are a few rides from up here that are close enough that if they're going to go, we might see Canadians in every class, which would be a really, really cool thing to see. But
absolutely, PDRA is wicked. It's really picking up a lot of steam. It's cool to have the Canadians there to cheer for and support. I love the whole PDRA anyways.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's cool. Obviously, it's cooler when you have Canadians or people or people from around the same area as you have success and do well down there. So, but PDRA and Norwalk, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's going to be a blast.
Things on their own, right? Are just such forces. But so that should be great. So if I guess if you got Flow, you can pick up on that this weekend. If you're not racing, if you are racing, then just need some internet.
I got Flow. I just need internet.
Yeah, we need to. Well, and if all goes well, I mean, likeliness is we should still be racing by the time we want to watch this. But if we're not, we have something to do. So that's kind of the Canadian countdown in a roundabout way, right there.
Getting longer, right? Getting longer. We got more results coming. I know there's some big events coming up. What are we doing this weekend? I just brought it up. Greenfield Dragway starts up this week. So, some Down East racing, Medicine Hat, TMP for the RCSS race coming up. Brad Torque Raceway back again. St. Thomas opens this weekend with ONDR.
That is correct.
As we talked about Naperville and Saskatchewan, their race still in the schedule. Need to change that. Is rescheduled.
Yeah, the TVC upgrades on the drag strip, I think, weather has affected them. Not that anyone else hasn't been affected by rain, but certainly harder when you're trying to get something done like they are. But awesome to see the updates from the racetrack on that as they go along, and just kind of fun to watch and follow, to be honest with you, right? It's Cayuga certainly went through quite a bit of that, not as well documented as Saskatchewan's photos of everything they're doing, but really fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So it's getting close. So now season over for SIR, looking to be June 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So everything else before then is being rescheduled. I'm sure everybody that's in that area or planning to go is already, hip with all the updates and up to date with that, which is good. But yeah, it's interesting watching because it's different things that I don't know. You're just like, okay, well, they're redoing it, right? We talked about it. We were excited for it. And then, well, I guess we have a few more hurdles than what we thought, right? But it's just things that you kind of don't think about when you're getting through it and the stress that would bring upon and now encroaching on your racing season. But hopefully it does only mess a couple weekends up for them and then get back out and make up for all that lost time.
Well, the beauty part is, and having run at multiple facilities out my way that have done track resurfacing or track rebuilding, right? You occasionally have your season messed up, but the long-term benefits of what's going to come out of that and just the great surface that they're going to have from here forward, it hurts a little bit in the interim, but the benefits in the long term are just fantastic. So it'll be exciting for them and everyone else.
Exactly. No, that'll be good. You're definitely right. It'll be huge benefits moving forward. We spoke about that actually again at Luskville this weekend, right? And this has been, I think we've had this service for 3 years now, at least. This might be the 4th year. Everybody's still talking about that, and makes huge difference for where we are now versus where we came from with the track. And I think everybody there will have the same experiences.
Yep.
Moving forward with it.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So Andrew, we have, what is it? This is Tuesday night, 3 work days. No one will be hanging out. I don't even know if it's a full work day for you now that they have a gamblers race getting set up for Naperville on Friday. So
yeah,
we'll
we're leaving Thursday night. I've
Yeah.
made the executive decision. The schedule's been scheduled for Andrew to not be there, but super excited. Can't wait to kick off another season of the Super Tour, particularly Naperville. Loved it last year. That was my first visit. Had a blast with it. So, and not that bad of a drive, right? It was. I never make the 401 East, but super excited to get out there again and kick off the year. And I see I'm afraid to even talk about forecasts. I won't even go there with it. But
I haven't looked at all. It doesn't. I don't know. Unless it's a total write-off, then somebody else will let me know. You know what I'm saying? If not, Friday night I'll be there.
Even at that, I'm not even sure I'm going to look to be even worried about it. Right? I'm just getting in the truck and going. It's full of diesel. It's full of race fuel. All the race cars are in one piece after a successful weekend of testing. Everything I could ask for at the moment. Even have the backup car, which by the sounds of it, you might require if I had more room to bring it.
Well, you never know. The rate I've been going, buddy, as many cars as we got, we need them.
Bring the whole arsenal with us, right?
That's it. Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
So what we talked about, you kind of brought up testing and you did a little bit of that at Grand Bend. What were you really looking for when you went out testing this weekend? And just kind of shake the cars down, make sure everything works again? Or is there something in particular that you were trying to learn or figure out?
A little bit of both, to be honest with you. So it was the backtracked a little bit, right? We put a new motor in the Mustang that I run, my 89 Mustang, and we'd had it on the dyno, which again was a new experience of, basically having a motor. We've done it a few times at dynos outside of our own where we've taken something, gotten it kind of broken in and dialed in before we dropped it in the frame rails or something. But we had a new motor in the Mustang, which was a bit of a different combination. And the Corvette was just kind of a, hopefully nothing changed, just drive it back out as you drove it back in type of scenario. Yeah. And so it was a little bit different on both fronts, right? One was make sure nothing has changed, and the other one was make sure everything you've changed is okay. And from that regard, it was successful. We didn't drive well, but to be honest, was focused on trying to sort through a few things. Something neat I have to run into, and I got to give credit where credit's due. So I keep a race pack in the Corvette, right? Draw the info from there, and the Mustang was kind of the test mule this weekend, of the one I needed a lot of info on, and we used the Biondo 450 to log RPM, so I was able to see where the converter's at, and we're going to make some minor changes to some converters, but nothing cataclysmic type of thing. But my buddy Chris Van Balen, got to give credit where credit's due here. So Chris and I were talking about converters. He got his Pilgrim race car. It's something that he's bought, has a legendary status type car out this way. But we're talking about information gathering, and he was telling me about his torque converter issues, same as mine. And he bought a $70 Amazon GoPro style camera. I'm not even sure it's a GoPro. I don't think we can call it that, but style camera.
Yeah.
Mounted it to stare at the dash. It's run through his cell phone, right? So you can hit the button and turn it on, or you can turn it on your cell phone. And we sat down and we logged it, not for a long time because we were running around in circles on Saturday, but he was able to log all the information on all the gauges on the run. And then you can mount a couple of them in different spots to gather info. And I was like, this is low-tech data acquisition without the big budget to do it. I'm like, this was kind of genius, right? Go straight to the phone. We look back and we were, comparing notes on the converter in my car compared to the converter in his car that, both were deemed to be just not quite right. And oil pressures and everything else, fuel pressures. And I'm like, this was kind of genius. And his end goal is to, I think, mount it underneath the car to get some suspension information with it, right? $70. I mean, if it falls off, it's not a $400 camera that you've now lost, right? It's just something you click Amazon.ca on and grab again. And I have to admit, I was like, this is intriguing, right? So for those out there looking for data acquisition without the data acquisition budget, which, is certainly a more than enough of us, and I was in there as well. I thought this was an intriguing way to go out and get all this, right? You can roll it back on your phone. You can see when you launched. I mean, you can kind of time lapse it, and, you got to do a lot more analoging on paper to figure it out. But if you're not sure what's going on and need to grab it, boy, great credit. So that was kind of the weekend, was just testing to get things like figured out, right? Dialed in. Suspension on the Mustang was good. We were curious what the power difference was going to make because we were up 60 compared to the old motor. And from that regard, everything went good. Just put it all back in the box Saturday night and ready for Napierville. Came back and pumped some more fuel out of the drums, and away we go.
That's it. I love the idea. I don't know if I've shared this on here before, but when I was trying to figure out some different information about my setup, I was using actually our intro video, the Bracket Life one that we used, where we took the video in the car, and then it's watching the tack go there. So I was watching, and I'll just scroll through my phone and I'll look back at, what the converter fell back to after the shift. So I was watching that, and that's what we've talked about before, just put a camera on there and watch that way. It's much cheaper, depending on what you're trying to look at. Yeah. Like, you just want to see some RPM stuff, then that's all you need. But you're not going to, you're not tracing your fuel pressure or whatever, or possibly you can, and you can go through, just put that up on your dash.
Yeah,
there's a way to follow it that way.
Yeah. If you've got it was a gauge style dash, right? And you could see all the gauges that were necessary, right? I'm not sure if you had a vacuum gauge, but regardless, if you had them all in a shot, right? You could watch vacuum over the course of the run. It was all the same stuff that the really expensive race pack and other data acquisition systems can do, is just in a very, very analog manner, right? But if you're looking for, real issues, right? I'm not sure what this has done. And certainly there are some cars and some configurations, you're just not going to see this, right? You're not going to be able to watch it over the course of, 4.5 to 7 seconds to see what's happened. But you can certainly do this and go back and see, what was that? There was an anomaly right there. So a neat deal. I think it was a good idea, great idea, in fact, to be able to go out there, because there's certainly more than enough times where you're talking to someone to go, what did it do during the run? And, I'm not sure. Well,
that's I always have that, because I never look down. I'm always, whenever I race, I'm only focused on the race. I'm never focused on the car. The car's going to do its thing. Whether I can't, maybe my subconscious, I can hear something, or if something else was going wrong. But for the most part, all of my focus is on the race, where I am on the racetrack, where my opponent is, and things like that. So I never, ever, even in a time run, right? I just never look down. Right? I can't do it. If I'm focused on telling myself I'm going to look down, then I'm going to miss the tree. Yeah. In a time hit or something like that. So I do my thing, and that's how it goes. It'd be a great tool to have and use on my own stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my takeaway from it, right? But so that was the kind of the testing weekend. It was just get out and make sure everything worked, right? And back to one of our earlier episodes, right? Double checked everything, all the generators worked fine for the day, compressor worked, all the stupid little things. In fact, the only thing that I was surprised didn't work, and I got to do some work on this week, my pager for the air station was acting up. So we got some work to do before we get to Napierville, minor stuff, right? But that was essentially the whole idea, was just get everything, shook down, get some rust off. Evidently all the practice over the winter helped me on my practice tree, did not help me on the day that I needed to do on Saturday, but we were still chasing some stuff. So I'll hide behind that until I get to Napierville, and then I have no excuses. So
there you go. For us in Luskville, this was actually our first weekend as a family racing. So we had 6 race cars there. We were racing 5 of them. Ended up, the 6th one did come out. That's how it goes, right? But so everybody was racing. So Mike, Vic, Ash, and Rachel, they were all driving their cars. I was driving mine. So the first time we didn't really have somebody dedicated to watch Alex all day, which would, to this point, to the 2 races we've been to, would have been Rachel. So we had a little bit of a juggle there, but we got it. We got it sorted out. As the first couple rounds is the big ones, right? Because by the time, round 3 comes around with 5 cars, somebody's not in. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't all have to race each other, I think, a whole lot. But, so that throughout the day it got easier. But talking about your pager, that's kind of what reminded me of that. I'm I didn't write a single thing down. I didn't even get a logbook out. I didn't get a weather station out. They had, Mike had his stuff, the weather station set up, and the girls writing their stuff down. I was doubled all weekend. and we're running around. You get back, you get your stuff ready, and then you try and help out with Alex and whatever else going on, whether we're selling T-shirts or working on something or whatever that may be. But yeah, I didn't write nothing down. That's it. I did a little bit of quick math, scribbled on my time tickets for some run completion stuff that I needed, and that's about it. You just do what you can do, and the nice part about these races is it's not too separated, right, between rounds. I don't think the car's making a huge swing, by any means, and we've done this enough times.
Yeah. This isn't one of those races where it's 3 hours between rounds, right? Like you've got enough time to get her cool and ready to go again for the most part until the nitty gritty, and then you're really rolling. So that makes a difference. Yep,
for sure. It was good. Nice. The way it did work out, I think was, I don't think we really had any hiccups with flowing through it as a group. I know because like I said earlier, Pam Reddy wasn't racing on Saturday with the front end of the dragster broke. There was an instance that Alex was dropped off to Pam and said we just all have to go. And that's just how that happened. But for the most part, it was all good. It was pretty well organized. It wasn't too bad at all.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's amazing it takes a tribe type of thing here, right? And it certainly did in this case, right? To get Alex through her first involved race day. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But that was a cool deal. It's a cool deal. We'll see what happens moving forward. I'm excited. I don't know. I'm excited to get back. Yeah, frustrating weekend for myself, but when we were leaving and rolling out, we had a nice talk, and Rachel was happy to be back in. Rachel felt really good being back in the car. Yeah. Saturday, obviously, as we all know, finding the tree again, and especially for her after not letting go in almost 2 years. Yeah. Tough to kind of find it, but she got her groove in there. And then Sunday she had a couple red lights, but she was close. Yeah. So it wasn't totally out in left field. You know what I'm saying? She didn't look like she'd never done this before. Yep. So she was really happy with her performance, happy to be back in, which was, obviously nervous. You never know how it's going to be getting back in the car after everything that she's went through and with having a baby. As much as I've been involved, it's not quite the same for me.
Two different paths here, right, to the same spot. But.
As we all know, so that's good for her. It's a nice time. We actually took a minute when we left Lustville. We got about 10-15 minutes down the road. Stopped. There's a little the chip truck, I guess, kind of on the side of the road, and stopped. Got some ice cream. It was wicked. Made the drive into Ottawa nicer. So
much more tolerable.
Yeah. I had that gone because once you get back on the 148, right, and then there's a bunch of stoplights, so you don't really actually get up to speed. So I hammered mine into me pretty quick, and before we got into the city. So
it's all part of the racing experience, right? You got to have the little things at the racetrack and the little things outside of the racetrack that make the whole trip experience enjoyable, right? That's the key part to it all. That's the key part.
Exactly. So so it's all good. So I'm pretty well. That's about it, I guess, that I got for tonight. Yeah. I'm excited for Naperville. I'm excited to get back, see the rest of the group. Right, there's so many people that show up to Lustville for our normal one, but then more friends that we'll see. Such as yourself, such as Ted Barnes, who's making the tour down. So I'm excited to see everybody.
There's I should back that up. So Ted's got the Datsun rolling. I don't think I'm giving away any secrets here, at least based on what I understand. Watching, but we had his Mustang out. We're gonna make some. Sounds like he's gonna make some changes to it. We were talking about that quite a bit on Saturday. But the Datsun motor's back in. There was a great vlog video. Should there have been a camera set up for Ted to thrash to get this back together? But I think it's going to be a good turnout this weekend. I'm excited for it. I know it's there's a lot of conversation here on a lot of local racing, which may not be as relevant to those not so local, but to our part of Ontario and Quebec. But talk to a few people out in Grand Bend who are looking to make the trip out to Naperville, looking to make a few trips to Lustville. I really think it's going to be a big, fun year for the Super Tour. I think you're going to see some new faces, some old faces, make a few trips out to, some stop-ins, whatever you want to call this, right? Even the Bonanza, talking to a couple of American friends about it. And they were asking if we were going to a race in 131. I says, no, I think I know we're going for the Bonanza, right? 6 cracks at 10 grand. And they're like, what do you mean you're racing for a week? And I'm like, racing for about a week and a half, but there's about 3 days off to go recuperate and be able to call it a vacation before we go back. And I was actually kind of intrigued by the fact that they were intrigued by this, right? Just for that many cracks at $10,000 was something that made them go, So,
and a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun, right? Like it's, exactly. I really, they've done a great job with I mean, Luskville and Naperville Super Tour, like in general, but like the tracks themselves have done a great job at, I think, really, I won't say reinventing bracket racing, but really bringing some exciting racing, into their parts of Canada, to the point where, it's an honest to God, some days a tough decision to like look at and go like, yeah, we can make the drive out there, right? Just for a non-Super Tour weekend. There's been some great events out there, and I give credit to those who deserve credit on that, right? They've really embraced, I think, what people are looking to want to do and see some bigger money type stuff, not earth shattering all the time type, stuff, but like just bigger stuff, some better events, some fun. Even places like Grand Bend have done some great jobs with just some of their event organizing and sense of, making weekends bigger. And we mentioned this even after, like off the show, right? About some theme type weekends, different draws, almost bracket finals type of things, right? Just to try to appease or appeal, to just different things that draw people out. So, but super excited to head east. That's maybe the bottom line on my end of it here. So
absolutely, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to hang out. I'm excited to see everybody there. Butch Douglas in the comments saying good luck, Butch. We got a few more days, but we can get you set up. Load her up, bud. Come racing. I know. You got to
that comment. My first thought was that's a comment of someone not making it, right?
Yeah, so that's right. The asparagus is calling still. Oh. May's out. The asparagus is calling Butch, so that's all good. We just got a message in the group in the Super Tour. What do we got here? Time runs at 3 p.m. First round 5 p.m. Friday. So anybody that is making the tour to Naperville for the Super Tour event, there you go. Load up. Get in there early. Perfect. Have a good gambler's race. Right? I'll do my best. I'll show up just time for the winner's circle picture. I can get in, load in with Andrew, take that thing down. But
we'll see what we can do. No pressure on that one, right?
That's it. Exactly. But, all right, Bob. Well, that's about it. Whatever episode. I don't even know what number we got here. We got 62. A lot. There you go.
I was looking at that too.
It's right there.
Yeah. We're getting up there pretty fast. So
yes, sir.
Should be great. Looking forward to a long summer of some great results, right? I think, and something we'll throw out there maybe, right? Always looking for ideas on show topics. What do you guys want to hear, right? What do you guys want us to talk about? There's all sorts of stuff that we kind of mull back and forth on and look to go over. Certainly the episodes where there's lots of results, right? It can lead to some shorter discussion times, but we'll work on getting some guests back on. Or we've certainly had quite a few over the last multiple years, right? I keep thinking I keep forgetting that how many years we've kind of done this
for a while now.
But if you have any ideas on this type of stuff, we'd love to hear some of the back. What do you want to hear us jabber on about or not? Maybe more. Just tell us what you want us to hear us talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for always everybody that keeps up with us, keeps in touch, keeps watching every show, every episode. More vlogs coming. Got lots of stuff.
Yes.
The vlog's been doing very well, so
yeah,
we got lots of them rolling. We'll keep it going. I really enjoy making them and getting them set up, and
truly enjoyed them.
See what we can do. Hopefully the racing picks up a little bit for us though.
That would be nice. Yeah.
We need to hit that upswing. We'll get there.
Well, worst case scenario, if it doesn't, just let me know. I got the dyno. We can do some vlogs from the dyno. So
we'll do something fun. Right? Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet, sponsoring this week's episode. See us all again in 2 weeks. If we don't see us at Naperville and wherever else we might be going the weekend after.
Have a great one.
35 years ago, a lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work.
Diagnostics and racing transmissions.
performance parts and Jeep upgrades,
automotive detailing,
used car sales,
and towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
it's worth the drive.